Hello, my name is Nikki Sundstrom. By day, I work as the Director of Social Media and Public Engagement at one of the world's top public research institutions, and by night, as an advocate of digital citizenship and social integrity. Rooted in my passion for public service, I have built my career around increasing transparency, cultivating change, and leveraging social media as a tool, not a solution. I am delighted to have the opportunity to speak with you today, albeit virtually, but would first like to commend you on your admirable achievements. For more than a year, we have each encountered and been forced to navigate unprecedented challenges. Challenges that may have made it difficult for you to complete your education, seek the comfort of loved ones in times of need, or see clearly what the future might hold. You have persisted, persevered, and made everyone that you know incredibly proud. Congratulations. As you enter into the next phase of your career, further establishing yourself and your expertise within your profession, I'd like to lend you my own knowledge, advice, and insights as they relate to the ever-changing and profoundly impactful world of online engagement and community building. Now, this is more than likely a space with which you are already very familiar and regularly allocate both time and content. But social media has also become an environment that can have unfortunate consequences on the perception and reality of your work, the organization you represent, and the legacy that you intend to leave behind. Now, perhaps you are viewing this today, chuckling softly to yourself about the severity of the statement I just conveyed, and even wondering, Nikki, how on earth does what I post, share, or like possibly impact me in real life? And the fact of the matter is this. Each exchange you conduct online is an entry into an everlasting, interactive autobiography, a digital path of footprints, or breadcrumbs, if you will, that possesses the ability to shape the narrative around you and lead those that follow you in a multitude of different directions. Thanks to social media, we have spent over a decade building robust networks of so-called friends and creating a plethora of posts. Combine this with the introduction of remote learning and work, and you are presented with an overlapping and interweaving web of connections that have enabled any previous delineation between our personal and professional personas to all but disappear. For example, you currently are joining me in this conversation from the comfortable confines of the corner of my bedroom, a space that I have occupied and also invited my colleagues into for the past 15 months. They've met my children in the background of Zoom meetings and even heard me holler to close a door when I forgot to push mute. Both slightly embarrassing and practically unheard of pre-pandemic, this has now become a familiar reality for many of us around the world. We too, through social media, tend to overshare many of the most candid moments in our lives, our opinions on potentially contentious issues, and our personal experiences. All of this makes it critically important that we recognize the internet for the vast and complicated space that it is, a space that we do not own or control, and a space that we can only attempt to anticipate or mitigate risk within. And this leads me to my first tip for today. Trust is earned everywhere, but on the internet. Reflect for a moment on the people you surround yourself with, the confidants with whom you share, or the mentors from which you seek guidance. Is this network large? Is it small? Does it change frequently? Or has it taken you years to build? Think too about the time, effort, and care that you've put into becoming someone that others can trust. The oath that you have pledged to uphold, the years of studying that you've allocated to becoming an expert, and the homework that you've done to refine your craft. Now pause and think about the time that it takes you to accept someone into your world online. Perhaps someone you've never even met before. What about the time that it takes you to acknowledge a post with a passive reaction as you scroll through a never-ending newsfeed? Or the time that it takes you to read a headline, consume a video clip, or even simply click share? While originally seemingly well-intended, social media has become the biggest vehicle for misinformation, propaganda, data mining, and targeted solicitation that we may ever encounter. Just this month alone, when surveyed, nearly 2/3 of Americans from across the political spectrum said they believe social media platforms do more to divide than to unite. We must take more initiative to foster positive, proactive, and powerful dialogue in online communication spaces, to lead with facts, break down barriers to expertise, increase resources, encourage inclusion, and to simply add value. The power that social media holds to reach audiences around the world instantaneously for free is not something that should be taken lightly. The need to do our homework and allocate time, effort, and care does not stop when we leave the classroom. As advocates, allies, and even influencers within our own industry, it is imperative that we take responsibility for how and what we share in all facets of our lives, but perhaps especially so within social media, as it has a nasty way of holding us accountable if we are not being authentic. Which leads me to my second point. Content has consequences. Now, this is the part of the presentation where virtual delivery is a real downer, because normally I would love to ask for a raise of hands in response to my inquiries. So from wherever you are watching, ask yourself and those around you, when was the last time you saw a tweet generate a national news headline, or a Facebook post prompt a human resources inquiry? What about a hashtag campaign that had the ability to bring together millions to demand action or accountability? What we share online not only shapes how others perceive us, it also provides fodder for public record and potential trouble for your public affairs team. The calls to action that we communicate and those that we choose to answer have a way of showing others how we view the world, who or what we associate ourselves with, and they also allow for assumptions to be made about how we might act or treat others. Uphold your content, likes, and shares to the same standard you do the care of your patients, ensuring it always shows integrity, cultivates community, demonstrates an appreciation for diversity, privacy, honor, and respect. Screenshots are forever, and you should always assume that what you post or push send on will go far beyond your intended audience. Know that the narrative online is easily taken out of context or manipulated. If an issue arises, seek assistance, step away, do not engage. Online harassment is real harassment, and being professional is not just about having a stethoscope. It is much harder to be criticized just for listening, and in my experience, it is always how I learn the most. And now, like the typical former government turned higher education employee that I am, my last tip for you today is an acronym. Think. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? In any industry, but particularly in a space as demanding as social media, it is vitally important that you always aim to share accurate, timely, and responsive information. People are fundamentally more aware of who shared an article than who wrote it. Avoid feeling pressured to post just because others are, and never allow likes or comments to impact your mental health or make you question the value that you bring. It truly is okay to not have social media or adopt the latest TikTok trend. Post for yourself, not for other people. We all get frustrated, and it is easy to use social media to vent. But the internet does not take vacations, and like an elephant, it never forgets. Always consider the impact your role holds on the things that you say and you do. Keep the standards that you have committed to in the back of your mind at all times. Even keep this video in mind as you ask yourself if what you're intending to share adds value. Pause before you post. Social media burns hot, but quickly, and speech is free, even when difficult. Create a strategy to help you and your organization determine what is critical. Do not let emotions dictate your response. Remember the power that social media provides us all. Be proactive, collaborative, and empowering. Use what you now know to increase awareness, help others protect themselves online, and encourage the use of social media to unite rather than divide. Thank you once again for all that you have done and will continue to do to advance new knowledge, better health, and ensure equitable care.